Hidden Knowledge podcast and live stream. The information being shared with you is top of the food chain knowledge. Please use the strategies and techniques discussed in this broadcast wisely. Your host, Ronnie Sandelin, will be your wizard to guide you through your journey towards freedom, discovery, and higher knowledge. Remember to know thyself and pay no attention to the opinions of sheep.
We live today in a golden age. This is an era that man has looked forward to, dreamed of, and worked toward for thousands of years. But since it's here, we pretty well take it for granted. You know, for 20 years, I looked for the key which would determine what would happen to a human being. Was there a key I wanted to know which would make the future a promise that we could foretell to a large extent? Was there a key that would guarantee a person's becoming successful if he only knew about it and knew how to use it? Well, there is such a key. And
Welcome to the School of Hidden Knowledge podcast and live stream. The information being shared with you is top of the food chain knowledge. Please use the strategies and techniques discussed in this broadcast wisely. Your host, Ronnie Sandelin, will be your wizard to guide you through your journey towards freedom, discovery, and higher knowledge. Remember to know thyself and pay no attention to the opinions of sheep.
We live today in a golden age. This is an era that man has looked forward to, dreamed of, and worked toward for thousands of years. But since it's here, we pretty well take it for granted. You know, for 20 years, I looked for the key which would determine what would happen to a human being. Was there a key I wanted to know which would make the future a promise that we could foretell to a large extent? Was there a key that would guarantee a person's becoming successful if he only knew about it and knew how to use it? Well, there is such a key, and I found it.
All right, we're live. All right, everyone. All right. Quarantine down. Sunday. We have to enjoy our church. Not, in quarantine. I think there was a pastor that just got arrested for having a church, under quarantine, and they put an arrest warrant out for him. I think it was in Florida. I'll have to look it up. But here we are. It's a Church of Business. I'm with Michael Cooch here. Thanks, Mike, for coming by and sharing your knowledge. I've asked you to come here because I've actually taken your course. It's helped me build my business, and I think it's more relevant than ever now that so many local businesses are struggling. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then there's also a lot of people, marketers, and a lot of people that are going to be marketers now that they're out of work and they need to figure out how to earn a quick income. And it's a kind of a match made in heaven. A lot of people have been following marketing, know how to market. A lot of restaurants and businesses, local businesses, don't know how to do it. They're struggling. I'm going to show you a few businesses that are doing really well during the downturn, are actually doing better now than they were before. But Mike, tell me a little bit about your background, how you got into local businesses, what you're doing now, and what you recommend that people do during the time of quarantine, how they can make money from their computer, but still help the local community out.
Yeah, awesome. I'd love to. Well, thank you so much for having me here. First of all, I love it. I love the Church of Business, the Church of Capitalism. That's it's a good spot to be right now. Yeah, you know what? The small business community obviously has been rocked by everything going on with this virus and the economic fallout from it, and so they need our help now more than any time. And there's lots of challenges there. And of course, anytime there's challenges, there's also opportunities. So my background, I've been an entrepreneur essentially my whole career. I worked a couple jobs right after college, just very briefly, and then started a business. And that entire career has been selling to small business owners. And more than half of that time was exclusively just selling to business owners, like truly like in a local market, cold calling, direct mailing, knocking on doors, going to meetings, all that type of stuff. Managing salespeople where they're doing the same, where, hey, everybody's making 100 cold calls today. Everybody's sending out 100 emails today, that type of stuff. And I've just worked, with small businesses my whole career, and I love it. I love small business. I love local business. I love how they contribute to the communities that we live in. I think that they're a vital, vital part of our communities, and so I enjoy working with them and helping them. And they can be a challenging bunch, as and as you mentioned, not all of them are really well equipped in terms of marketing skills and marketing mindset and stuff like that, so they need help.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like what you told me, and one of the things that you teach is that it's not necessarily good enough to help a restaurant or a business set up their own funnel, but you really have to have a funnel that focuses on your local community. That way you have the data, you own the data, you know how to parse the data, what to do with the data, and how to advertise that, use that data, and basically build a community around it. Because if you're trying to build a bunch of, like what I was doing when I was doing local business, like, hey, keep your data, this is your restaurant's data, but they didn't know what to do with it. They weren't trying to blast emails out every other day or every day, or create content or curate content or whatever. They're just like rolling sushi and trying to keep their restaurant afloat. So your concept is so much smarter, which is like build your own funnel for your local community, and that way you control the data. You know what to do with the data. Plus, you own the data, and as everyone knows now, data is like the most powerful thing that you can have. And I'm going to show you guys some examples of people doing it. I actually have a friend of mine, Stephanie, who's doing your model, actually doing independently of what you're teaching, but I'd love to connect her with you. But she's doing this, and she's only been doing it for about a year, and she's doing great with it. So she has Explore Long Beach, which Long Beach isn't too far from you. And boom, like she has the Instagram page. Yeah, she's doing a great job curating it. And like you said, these businesses will give you their content. They'll give you their photos. They'll give you their, all the content you need to create it. It's just your job to curate it. And right now, what she's doing is she has like a COVID section where it's like what restaurants are open for delivery. What restaurants can you have delivered to your place? Because I'm struggling with that here in Vegas. I'm like, man, which ones are open? Half of them are closed. My favorite ones aren't open because I don't think they had a clear plan to like deal with people like me. I'm seeing one of the businesses that I really love. Here's what they're doing, Echo and Rig. And I think this is just genius. And like what you've created, that site you created there, sandiego.com, and just showcase these things. So every day they have a new menu. So they have their alcohol to go menu. This is the alcohol to go menu. And then they've condensed down their menu down to like a takeout menu. So I was talking to the owner, and he was like, dude, we tried to sell our full menu the first 2 days, and nobody wants like a fucking $50 takeout plate. They want like sandwiches and cookies, And so they shifted their whole business, and he's like, dude, it's pretty cool because now I'm actually able to showcase like how I can do like comfort food. I can make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that'll blow your mind. That it's not going to be an expensive, and so they've condensed the menu, made it cheaper. So they have house-made cookies, gone to like the elaborate desserts that they had, these beautiful desserts. Yeah. So I'll show you what their menu looked like before. I mean, just gorgeous. Look at these cuts of meat. I mean, one of my favorite, probably is my favorite restaurant here in Vegas. So they couldn't, sell these, but they're making sandwiches.
Yeah, people want to feel like it's like they want the comfort of mom cooking for them, right? So those comfort meals for foods, that's the stuff that gets us out of stress. Feels good.
Yeah, and so it's been interesting seeing a lot of these businesses pivot into okay, like what was working before isn't working today, and then other ones they're just like, I give up, I don't know what to do. And as a marketer, you can look at these trends and say, look, here's what's working for this business over here. Let's apply this over here for you. Let's do some online marketing, and then never been a better time than ever to start creating your own thing. I mean, this is a blog. I mean, what's WordPress, right? I'm assuming.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can get WordPress. When I first started getting into WordPress, I'd say 10 years ago, it was actually kind of difficult. You had to set up the database. You had to make sure the IP numbers and the name servers and all this. Nowadays, you can go, there's WordPress hosting in one click. Boom. You don't have to do any of it. You had to upload stuff into the FTP server. You don't have to do any of that anymore. It's a one click. Yeah, and there's so many themes here. I go to ThemeForest. I don't know where you do you know what theme you use?
Oh yeah, I love them. Yeah, I love ThemeForest. Yeah, you go to ThemeForest and then you go to Fiverr and find an expert on WordPress to set everything up for you. Totally. Just say, hey, I want it here and I want this site. And
so you go over here to newspaper blog. What I do is I go to the most popular. Because the most popular, they're so good. At this point, they've had so much case studies and use studies, iterations, they've just become very good. They're popular for a reason. So, I have my go-to ones that I go to, but you can just go here and you're like, wow, this is what my website can look like. And you don't need to be a super genius. Somebody's going to take some work, or you can Fiverr it. And, you can have these beautiful, stunning websites. And they also have this neat thing for graphics. All right, so I know people that spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars on a logo, and I'm like, dude, you're out of your mind. I go over here, and I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna do a beach city or beach. I'm in Long Beach. Oh, look at that first one, boom! Look at that. That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and what, $30? And what I'll do is I'll spend an extra $50. I send it to my graphic designer, the premium design at gmail.com. And then he makes it he just does his little tweaks and make it a little bit nicer and more professional and clean. So for under $100, I've got a sick logo. It takes me less than an hour to set up a logo. Because I'm not stressing over the logo. I want it to look branded and clean, but you don't need to spend all this time on it. And then boom, and then you get your WordPress site up. You get your theme. So what is your theme going to cost? Let's take a look at this theme over here. The average theme is what, $60? Something like that. Let's see. They're about 50. Let's see over here. Web themes and templates, WordPress blog. Yeah, 60. They're all across the board. The good ones are about 60. But even at 60, it's man, these things look beautiful. I use
what that cost us, like you said, 10 years ago, what it cost you to get a site like that.
Totally. See, this was the one I used. Newspaper, it's their best-selling theme. So there's so much support. There's so much support and for it. And then out of the box, you can make it look like this in a few click.
That's right. Yeah, look at that.
Beautiful. You don't need to do anything. It doesn't need to look like, a Mona Lisa. It just needs to look functional. And then a lot of it now, what my friend I just showed you, Judge, she has her main thing is Instagram. So she has all the, I'm not really hip with Instagram. But, there's nowadays it's never been easier to help small businesses, to help your community out, because it's also community outreach. Because let's face it, a lot of these, a lot of people that are working within the city, city council people, they don't have great outreach. So they're going to rely on Explore Long Beach or your blog and to get their press releases out and to get their information out as well. So it's a community service, and you can make great money doing it. You have a course on how to do it. Let me drop my affiliate link. Yes, I am getting paid to promote it, but I believe in it. I've taken Mike's stuff, so it's not like I'm not recommending you guys, do something I haven't already personally done that hasn't helped me immensely. Okay, let me make sure it's pinned. Okay, it's in the comments. Yeah, so it's in the comments. Go ahead and check it out. Look at the course. Check it out. I mean, it's worth it. How much you selling the course for? It's super cheap. You're selling it for too cheap.
I know.
Seriously, yeah.
Yeah. So, the beauty of information marketing, as you know, is even at nice, low, affordable price points, you can still do well. because you can get lots of customers out there. So I like to be affordable. I like to help as many people as I can. But yeah, this concept, I think, is super important, Ronnie, because there's so many people out there that are in the agency business, and I call this assets over agency. This is the strategy that I absolutely 100% believe in and advocate to anybody who will listen, is that as an agency, like you were talking about before, you're working with the restaurant's assets, with the gym's assets, and you're trying to build their assets for them. And there's all kinds of things that can go wrong in that because they're small business owners, because they're busy rolling the sushi, as you said, that there's just so many variables that are out of your control. But if you build your own asset where you control the delivery of the message, you control the data, you control the delivery of the outbound text messages and emails promoting offers, and that's all under your control, one, you have a much better ability to make sure that you're getting the result that you're looking for. Two, it's dramatically easier because you're just messing with your systems now. You're not having to work with all these other systems that other businesses have. And then three, and this is the most important thing that I wish people would get, Ronnie, is that right now, while everybody else's agency business is struggling because all of their customers have gone out of business, or they're really struggling and trying to figure out how to stay in business, my asset, my website, my Instagram, they're growing. They're growing because all of the consumers out there are looking for information. So my traffic is up, my audience is up, and yes, I'm still struggling like others are struggling with, it's harder to get advertisers right now and stuff because that's just the reality of the world that we're in right now. But when I come back out of this thing, when we come back and turn the corner on this thing, I've got an asset. I've got something that is actually growing this whole time. So I'm picking up market share.
Yeah, look at this. Now, this is you have 15.3 thousand followers. Doesn't need to be massive. No,
it doesn't need,
because it's so localized. You don't need, it's all about having the local audience. That looks good.
Exactly. And let me tell you something really important. So for the people who are looking at this right now and they're going, okay, what do I do right now to start helping my local businesses and start, building up an asset and start being able to make some money quickly? Right there, you just showed exactly what it is. Instagram. You just get on Instagram, you create an account that's focused on local restaurants, local, it could be any niche, local real estate, local whatever it is, whoever it is that you're serving, and you build up that Instagram presence, which you can build up so fast and for free. All it takes is just going out there and posting good content and engaging with your community and hustling. I have all kinds of people that I know that are out in the marketplace that are just selling, to local businesses, quick little blasts, including me. So if I create a post for your business, I'm charging you for it. And if I create an Instagram story and post it up there, I'm charging you for it. And then I can also direct people from my Instagram to my email list. So now I have a newsletter and I can promote local businesses that way as well to consumers. I've got 20-something thousand people on my email list here in San Diego that are paying attention to us for news and offers about local businesses.
And it's not just that, they're probably looking to you for information on, like emergency response information and, what the local city council person is putting out. And they're coming to you looking to communicate to the public. You become a public service, so, a real valuable member of your local community.
Absolutely. I mean, it's funny. You get to be, I didn't even realize it until I was about a year into it. And I was at an air show here in San Diego, Miramar, where Top Gun, they do all the big air shows down there. And I'm in line with my kids, and it's like this huge security line to get in there. I'm in line with my kids, and while we're in line there, we had 3 different people say, hey, you're there, San Diego. You know, I watch your stuff all the time, pay attention to your stuff all the time. Thank you. And my kids are like, what's going on here, Dad? Like, you're like a celebrity or something? I'm like, I didn't even, I had no clue. But yeah, you are a part of the community, become a vital part of the community.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, you know, and it's also getting to know your community on a more intimate level than you would have without having that. Because, you know, before I was, you know, working with so many local businesses. That's actually why I purchased your product so many years ago. That was one of the ways that I was, you know, paying my bills, was helping small mom and pop shops with mobile websites. I was really focused on the mobile websites because, you know, at the time there was that revolution happening where everyone was switching to mobile, and most businesses had these clunky websites. So I was selling them for $400 a pop, and I was getting to the point where I was selling 1 or 2 of them a day. Just, you know, started getting pretty good money. But it was really your techniques that took it to that next level, because I went through your course and I learned a few things, like, for example, how to use Phone Burner. So I'll pull up Phone Burner. It's an amazing tool. So people are asking, okay, that's great, but how do I get in touch with these people? You know, I don't want to go and knock on doors and do all these things. And you have some just great solutions. So one of them is Phone Burner. I think it's like $50 a month or something, super cheap. I mean, it's nothing crazy. If you're earning money, it's essential. And what it does is you call in with your phone, right? And so you can have your headphones on, and then it links into their power dialer, and so it's web based. And so now you load it up with numbers, and you're able to contact over 100 people a day and leave notes, send them voicemail blasts. I mean, it's incredible. You just got to look into Phone Burner, and they have just all automated. And it makes prospecting to your local business so much easier. I mean, I was like, before I got hip to your stuff, I was maybe making $400 a week to now doing that in a day. You know, just because of the amount of prospecting I was able to do and crunching that small amount of time. I think just that is a secret weapon. Just learning that alone, just learning how to make appointments. And nowadays, you know what's great is then it would have been impossible. When I was doing it and I was making $400 to $800 a day doing mobile sites, nobody was getting on Skype or Zoom or any of this stuff. You could not get people. Now, next to the quarantine, it's like, okay, everyone knows what Zoom is. Everyone has a Skype. Facebook has Messenger video. You can FaceTime them now with video. Like, you don't need
nobody wants to meet in person.
Nobody wants to meet in person. But then it was the opposite. And this was only, 5-6 years ago? Like, then it was like, no, we got to meet in person. Now it's like, you know, I don't got the time. I don't want to catch cooties. You know, everyone's hip with it now. In fact, I feel like
just got infinitely more efficient.
Oh, totally, way more efficient. And so that's why I was like, you know, it's never been a better time. People are sitting at home, especially business owners. A lot of them right now, they're like, what am I going to do? You know, should I? You know, I've been trying to go to as many restaurants as I can and get takeout. You know, to support them. And a lot of the owners are just sitting in their restaurants like stressed out. Like, what am I going to do?
What do I do?
You know, business sucks. And I called up one of my friends. I think I showed you guys his Instagram hiccups. And here's an example of a restaurant who's killing it. And then this is an interesting story with the owner of this restaurant. Him and I got into Legion together, and we were going to start in a Legion business, and he was considering selling his restaurant. And because it was doing okay, but it was like, man, I put in so much work, and I could do Legion and make so much money, you know, with less work, less leverage. And he was the money guy, and I was the funnel building guy. So whenever I tell people, like, look, if you don't have the money, there's money out there that wants to like live the internet marketing lifestyle, and you just pair up with them. So that's what I did. And we started making thousands of dollars a day. But then he started applying the same strategies with the funnel building and just advertising and like building audiences and applying it to his restaurant. And he's like, dude, I just made $100,000 last month in my restaurant. I'm not selling it. And he decided to just double down on the restaurant, gave me the Legion business. He's like, you do that. It's a little too risky. Now, considering I have restaurants that I'm trying to scale out, the Legion's a little bit more sued. You know, he's more likely to get sued. He has family. So he gave me the Legion business, and he went ahead and did this. Now he has like multiple locations. Look, Lakewood, Orange County, Los Angeles, Arizona, Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, Florida. He was ready to sell it. And this is all just because like he was like for one of the first the gate running paid ads for his business. And I mean, look how good he does it. He just uses an iPhone. He's not using anything crazy. Like, you know, he just look at that.
It's franchise now too, so he's really realized.
Yeah, he's franchising it out now. And he has another one. He's taken that concept. And let me pull up his other restaurant. I don't know where it is. He has another restaurant like Crab and Claw or something. Here it is, Raising Claw. So he's just taking that, and I talked to him. I was like, you know, thinking, he's going to tell me how, you know, it's been tough, it's been hard. He's like, dude, the business has never been better because so many of the restaurants, less competition. The other businesses, they're not running ads. He's running ads, so everyone sees, Hiccups does delivery, Hiccups does pickup. They're open for business. And so he's just doubling down on the ads. He's like, dude, it's never been better. I have less staff. I don't have to have much staff. And, you know, he has it just automated. It's a system running. It's a really good system. Yeah. And so there's so much opportunity right now to automate these small businesses and get them hip to how digital marketing works and the power of it, you know? And so it's like a tale of two cities. So we have some restaurants that are crying and moaning and groaning and shutting their doors. And you have other restaurants like my buddies who's like, dude, it's never been better. Bring on delivery. Yeah. He's like, dude, I'm thinking about going delivery only after this. It's more profitable.
That's amazing, huh?
Oh, it's incredible. And it just shows like during a time of crisis that the smart people adapt and shift and change and are able to pivot quickly. And the that the weak businesses, they just give up. They shutter their doors. You know, one of my favorite sushi restaurants just basically said, we're going to reopen COVID. You know, we don't know when we're going to reopen. And I was just thinking, there's so many times I'm like, man, I would do some takeout Kabuto right now. You know, like I'm fucking, I need some comfort food, you know, but they're not open. They didn't figure out how to adjust to the difference, you know, in demands. Instead of having this big drawn out menu, maybe they just had 3 essential cuts that they were doing. You know, or whatever, you know, maybe add a little chicken teriyaki in it and some rice and maybe just made it a little bit more pared down, but you know, and then, so it's just all about how you adapt to the situation. As marketers and as business owners, we have to do that too. And some of you guys listening to the stream are probably like, you know, I'm out of a job. What am I going to do? How am I going to supplement my income? What am I going to do when this is over? And there's so much opportunity here in front of us because when this is over, people are going to want to go out and eat. People are going to want to go out to eat. They're going to want to enjoy the outside. They're going to want to enjoy the local businesses. And, you know, so there's an opportunity to help these companies deal with the crisis and then be ready for the bounce back to capitalize on all that, you know, internet, that huge push is going to happen once all this stuff clears. Can you hear me?
Oh, I lost you for a second, but it sounds like you're back.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Did you get my soliloquy? Did you get?
Yeah. No, I got it. It was all but like 3 seconds of it, so we're good.
Okay. Great. I'm gonna check the comments right now. I'm actually also, guys, I'm YouTubing. I'm actually trying to get my YouTube really more focused on the YouTube. So you can go to YouTube and check it out. Okay, so Jorge Rodriguez on YouTube says there's no link. Let me take care of that. I will reply, Jorge, with a link where you can purchase Mike's course, and it's worth it. How much is it? Like a couple $100? I mean, come on. It's a no-brainer, really, in my opinion, considering there's like courses out there that are like, you know, way more expensive. Okay, let me check the Facebook one. I know there's a few on Facebook. And of course, you guys can call in 702-508-0900.
Look at that, man. We're like a total production here.
This is. Hey, look, this is
awesome.
Yeah, how many other live streamers do you listen to? You can call in. I've got experts like Mike Cooch. Come on, guys. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, this is just the beginning. This has been multi-year plan. So, I'm not seeing too many comments. It is Sunday. I understand people spend time with the family. Mike, what do you want to sign up for? What do you recommend that people do? I know we already talked about it, but just summarize it. Like, what would you do if you just got laid off? You've never been doing local businesses. You never really done any. You know a little bit about online marketing, enough to set up a site. What would you do?
Yeah, so I would do a couple of things. So one, I would be all over social media, adding value and creating content and building up my brand all day, every day. So kind of the Gary V model of I'm just out there posting a bazillion times, hustling, doing everything I can. And I would do that on Instagram starting immediately. Instagram is the most local platform of all the social media platforms. It is so easy to build a really engaged local community on Instagram. So build something that is about your community. Don't build, Mike's agency Instagram account. Build like I did, their San Diego or your friend's site in Long Beach or, whatever it is. There's all kinds of great examples out there. But build something that is about and for your community. And then all you've got to do, when I say post a lot of great, valuable content, just celebrate your community. Find the good things out there that you can celebrate and share content about. Share, the beautiful things that we have in San Diego, the amazing restaurants that we have in San Diego, the cool people that we have in San Diego. Just share that stuff and celebrate the community. Okay, so by doing that, you're going to build your audience, you're going to build your engagement. And anytime, as you know, Ronnie, anytime that you can get eyeballs looking at something that you own, you can make money with it.
Yeah, totally.
Because if you got eyeballs, then you can direct them to offers.
And so all this content that you have, you're not writing that, right? I mean, you're not slaving away writing content all day, right? How do you do that? How does your site look like it's like it has a team of people in an office slaving away for you? And how do you do it all virtually?
Yeah, so I have one part-time person in the Philippines, so she's awesome. But 95% of our content comes from two sources, either PR firms and businesses sending it directly to me saying, hey, I would love to be on your site. We wrote this article about these great things happening at our business, and they'll include the professional photography, everything. So that's one way. We get a ton of those submitted every day. And then the other way is we just find events and posts on Instagram and Facebook, and then we just reshare those. I mean, that's all there is to it. But you're acting as an aggregator, as a consolidator of this information for your community, so that they're not having to go look around everywhere. You're bringing them the best stuff right there in one spot, so it's nice and easy for them. People, they're going to take the easy route. So if you put up a good brand and put up a good site where you can share all this information for them so they don't have to get it on their own, you're creating a nice, valuable service. This is the media business, right? It's why newspapers and magazines and radio stations have existed in local markets forever.
Well, it's interesting. It's like you can really outcompete them. Like I'm thinking about LA Weekly, OC Weekly, all these weeklies. And I'm like, how are they even staying in business when you have guys like you that don't need to have all the costs? I think there's more eyes on Instagram than there is in print. Nobody wants to read a big article anymore. Like, sure. They want the quick snapshot. They want the quick.
So,
yeah.
You're exactly right. So the competition in those traditional businesses are going out of business. This month, the announcements of the local print media, stuff like that are going out of business, it's all over the place. Because they have old business models, old infrastructure. They've still got, offices with 30 people in them.
Totally.
You can't support that.
Yeah.
So they're shut down. Yeah. So you have an opportunity to grab market share right now.
Huge, because there's not too many of these people doing this. Like, there's not anyone doing this in Vegas on any type of level that I've seen, and I try to be hip with all the local stuff. So even out here, I'm like, maybe I could do this out here. I mean, there's once the dust settles, of course, but other places, actually, I wouldn't even need to wait. There's just focus on which restaurants are doing takeout right now, which ones are doing delivery. I don't know. I'm like cold calling restaurants. I'm about to bust out Phone Burner and see which ones are, just line them up and call them, see which ones are open, because so many of them are just not open. And if I had a go-to place and like, here are all the restaurants supporting the Las Vegas community, here are their menus, and had it in a concise way, man, that'd be great. And that's the opportunity right there. That's because there's so many businesses right now. They're like, dude, we're open. I've seen sign spinners. People are spinning signs like, hey, Jersey Mike's is open. Come on in, pick up. People don't know. It's hard. They don't know how to get their message across that, hey, we are open during the coronavirus. We can do pickup. We can do delivery. We can do whatever we need to earn your business, And so there's a big problem to be solved there, and it's immediate. It's an immediate problem that if you need money this week or next month's rent, there's businesses out there that are willing to pay you to let people know that they are, open for business. I mean, they're paying a sign spinner minimum wage, that does, 8 hours a day, 30 hours a week. That's quite a bit of money. If they're willing to, and it's, it's effective, but I think it's way more effective is letting people. I didn't turn in. I saw a sign spinner, but I hate Jersey Mike's. But I was like, this is what restaurants are doing nowadays. I'm seeing a lot of.
At least they're still marketing, right?
At least they're still marketing, because I'm seeing a lot of places that they don't know what to do. They're like stuck. They're like, I feel bad. I feel like they're just like owners of restaurants, just like in an empty restaurant. Nobody's coming in for days at a time. It's like, whoa, how do you operate? And it's not just restaurants. There's a lot of other businesses that are struggling with this.
And so what's so super easy with this Instagram strategy right here as well is just, all you've got to do is post a post on your Instagram for that business. They've got a great snapshot of their food and stuff. You post it on there. You put a little coupon offer. Say, hey, give us a coupon offer for our audience, so that they'll take action on it. And then you charge them, on the low side, people are out there charging $50 a post. On the high side, what I typically charge is $750 for a 3-pack of posts. So, and that includes, instead of just posting on the main feed right here, you can do a little Instagram story about them, things like that, and put a little link in there.
Yeah.
But
you see, those things, most restaurants, they even have their own. Most restaurants are hip to photography now. When I was doing it, they'd be like, here's my photo, and it'd be like some flip up phone, photo. Nowadays, everyone knows, hey, look, you need to look good on Insta. You need to look good on Snapchat. Needs to look delicious. Look at the Surfside Deli. That looks amazing. And then you're just posting their content. You're not having to hire the photographer. No.
I haven't worried about going and taking a picture on site in 2.5 years of doing this.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. It's interesting to think about because, again, when I was first doing it, it was like, man, I need to have a photographer because everyone's photos were so terrible. They didn't understand the value of it that I was having to convince them. And then, I would just, eventually I was like, I had my own photographer that would come, and that was part of the package. I packed it into the package because I knew it was like, it's going to look like shit, and they're going to be unhappy with the product because they don't realize that having good photos is part of having a good website and having a good online presence. And if you're just sending me a crappy...
I want to solve all your problems. That's all taken care of now.
It's incredible. It's easier than ever. It's easier than ever. And then I was making $800 a day. I'm there's a way to do those numbers in other ways, easily.
Yeah. So this is a super simple model, Ronnie. There's 10 different things that can flow from this to make it even more elaborate and make more money. Like I said, send people to your email list, get them on your newsletter so you can send them offers in email. Send them to a text messaging list so that you can build up a text messaging list and send them offers. Have a website, send them over there. Have a Facebook page, send them over there. I do sponsored content, just like you're used to the native ad networks. This is my own native ad platform. So if a business wants a nice long story told about them with all the pictures included and all that stuff, and then promote it in their local market, I do that too, right? So there's a lot of different ways to make money from this because you own the asset. You own the asset. You can sell the attention that you're able to generate, and it's very, very valuable.
Yeah, no, attention is dollars. And having the data is so valuable. Owning the data, building your own community, versus trying to build other people's community. You build your own community. People like you were telling me that now you're like a celebrity in your own hometown. Because you're building so much value when you walk into a restaurant. So the owner is super happy to see you. All the local people, they're like, hey, I read your blog. I see your Instagram. Thank you so much. I discovered a local restaurant. My local favorite is because of what you posted, or that museum. I didn't realize that museum was having a certain exhibit that I wouldn't have known if I didn't, follow your feed. And I was able to bring my daughter and get her, understanding art and, expose her to more art. And there's so many ripple effects to doing this business, because at the end of the day, America is small business. America is Main Street business. That is America. That is the heart of America. If you love America, that's what you love. It's going into your local business marketplace, getting the ice cream, having a pizza, walking around the park, enjoying your local community. That's what America, that's what it is to me and a lot of people I know. So you guys go out and help America. You guys need to go buy his course. It's worth it. I put it in the comments. I pinned it. It's not too much. I'm not sure. How much is it again?
I think it's $297 is retail price, but we've got a deal on there for him. So had to give him a deal for you.
Oh my gosh, look at that. It says 97 today. Okay. All right, guys. You'd be silly not to at least check out what's going on here. See how you can apply it to your business, maybe pivot to this business model. Connect with Mike. It's worth it. I've used the strategies. I've made money with the strategies. I still use some of the stuff that he taught years ago, and the stuff that I do now. I was telling Mike earlier today, that I was, the Airbnb that Sabrina and I have, we're getting hammered right now, obviously, with all the stuff that's going on. But when this is over, we are going to petition City Council with a lot of other Airbnb owners to basically enforce the illegal Airbnbs, because we are a legally permitted Airbnb and they haven't been enforcing it. But after coronavirus, all these, there's going to be an emphasis on making sure that you're legal, so you have all the health requirements, checked off the list in order to operate a Airbnb that's, should be ready for the public. So there's a lot of illegal Airbnbs. But I have this list that I got from the public records of all the owners of legally permitted Airbnb. So I'm going to take that list and I'm going to cold call them using Phone Burner. So there's like little things that you can learn from this course that you can apply towards other parts of the business that I still do. So anyway, go help America, go help local businesses. And Mike, thank you so much for being on here and taking the time. And definitely connect with everyone. And until next time, life is too short to get rich slow. Take care, guys.
I love it. Thank you, Ronnie.
Of course.